Rabbi Ingber from Romemu says that the Maggid, who was a student of the Baal Shem Tov, in terms of Hasidism, taught a lot of pretty helpful things. When we have overexposure to greatness, it causes like a numbness, a desensitization. It's almost like a callus on the soul. So the closer we get to God, the type of joy and enjoyment it is, makes the joy and enjoyment of being far enough from God to seek in conquest not enjoyable. Wisdom and understanding bring an innate pleasure. It's like this humbling embarrassment of realizing one's own limits. Words are formation vehicles. Basically, things become information, right? Silence is the fence around truth, and all wisdom is founded on awe. We're always in presence of God, a greater than me, not needing to get recognition. Above pleasure is nothingness, being a vessel, the space for existential, intense experience. God constricts into an even lower level, into even the lowest levels of reality. So if it's all me and nothing to share or constant pleasure, it's not enjoyable. Our ideals or the idols, we have to cast them aside because we know all good comes to an end. Otherwise, it burns out. We need breaks to grow and space. And we can say, thank you, God, for creating me. I'm not in a rush to be totally annihilated. Spiritual guardrail that we have is to emerge and merge. We do need boundaries. When we witness the pleasure by fully feeling instead of grasping, and then we can undo the grasping. I think we would call it like a charisma. It's like we don't have to be captivated. I want to share about resilience in lumos, transformos. I mentioned that group in other videos, but when we seek familiar dynamics for so talking about pleasure, right? Really like the above pleasure, nothingness, and kind of like the what I say? Oh, and the wisdom, the pleasure of wisdom, the pleasure of awe. But how when it's too much, we sort of numb out. We need breaks. So there's barriers that are from lumos, transformos, resilience to kind of get through the periods of not pleasure. We do have behavior changes. There's no awareness, denial, or stuck. It's like not interested in changing, optionless, unready. Like just totally resistant. This could be the pre-preparation. And then within the 6 months, it could be, we could start getting ready and tend to change. We might have ambivalence about it. But then, I'm giving examples 6 months, 30 days, but it could be within weeks, could be within days. But then like in 30 days, we feel ready. We start experimenting and collecting information. Then we keep to it for like 6 months. We make significant change. We take action. We practice. And then over 6 months later, we maintain the behavior change. We're committed. And then we would say there's like ruptures in the stages. There's relapse, return, we fell off or we fell apart, or it's not all or nothing. But when we seek familiar dynamics for the conditioned nervous system, like we should keep going to that which gives us pleasure. Men might say women should be seen and not heard. Or for any of us, the desirability of me physically is dependent on external validation and feedback. It's harder to like, really admire myself, give myself I need to sneeze, but it didn't come out. Like to give myself that admiration that like I desire me as it is to feel like when someone desires me. So not trying something that'll help me because I don't understand it. And not explaining myself to people who have a role in a pattern I'm breaking where they're explicitly shared they don't want to be involved. This is how I find people who try to evoke a motivation by ignoring or triangulating or taunting or judging or gaslighting. That's how I get out of it, not how I get it. But like in terms of resources being external and internal, barriers being internal and external, self-regulation, and agency. So starting to like realize the sustainability and changing the pattern is to find inner resilience. Like instead of looking outside of myself for that pleasure of being loved, being wanted, to start to be curious and playful and empowered with myself, to take space, to look forward to something, to look forward to myself, integrate from the cognitive to the felt sense. And then I want to share, there was this group called Living Deeply that I was a part of, and we talked about a lot of really amazing things, one of which was the self-defeating forms of comfort. So pleasure, comfort, being desperate to get rid of the voices that paralyze us or make us feel pursued. God speaks, though, to leaders and luminaries. Those voices are important. I remember I had a pasuk. It's a verse from the Torah that I randomly got, and it said, "Remove yourself from this community that I may annihilate them in an instant." And they fell on their faces. And it's like feeling like I'm a burden who's always needing or taking, feeling like I'm crazy, feeling I'll be seen as a liar. And that's to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I have the power to kill my demons by removing myself from infections of the spirit and being in community that receives and appreciates me and is ready to listen to me. I also realized, like, for me, marrying a Jew was coming full circle, and being listened into being is like, I need to be able to be heard. Someone who can't listen to me, or who's not a Jew, or basically where I don't have to hide my presence and my personality and my needs. When I feel supported and safe, it's this ayeka. God asked Adam, where are you? It's like we can ask ourselves, where are you? Where am I? And listen to the parts that need to get a little loving attention. And that's how the toxicity kind of comes out, so that I could deal organismically, like with the whole. Dreaming God's dream for me. The universe, one phrase or word. The questions really call forth the stepping stones. There is this strange, holy, sacred medicine. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine how when we jump the gun, we like disqualify things that maybe we would have been better off to be patient. And for example, Father Time, we don't need to jump the gun. And Mother Earth, like, when we jump the gun, we're like we're almost violating the pattern that births the new reality. So nurture and soothing, love and beauty is Mother Earth, the feminine. These are resources we have. And masculine is like protecting, providing time and space. When we have the medium, it's like, oh, 1 second. It's like the field, the place in between, like what you're a multimedia artist, you use many mediums. So there's this couple field, this feminine, masculine. We can ask any necessary questions. We're never alone. We can get the message from wherever we believe can reach us. And it's like so familiar that what happens when something dissonant happens, one tries to fix the other, because it feels like the identity field merged with the paired field. That's like a nested sort of satisfaction to the spirit. We can ask for protection as needed all along. So it's natural soul medicine. And this is also something we would say is called uncoupling, like sort of like the dissolution of the separation, like sugar or salt in the water, the false selves. And then I had a talk with a friend of mine named Etenia, how shacking up is like, continuing the couple idea, shacking up is culturally traditional, like a dirty rock which can be cleaned. The tumbling can be loud, but a rock can be a gem. The cat and mouse, chasing ideals, idols, unattainable fantasy for those who identify as ungodly. Whoever needs me in the shallow, with them, is not interested in my vitality, and I can only protect myself from being fatally hooked in some way. It's like this bumping elements get more momentum, collisions double energy. So financial insecurities, inclination that the other is not right, differences in filters, home life, body. My tribe will hold me to my values. And like when I was having conversations with the man Sprouti I mentioned before about some of the topics, it was like the truth about my process. Better to have external obvious disabilities than discover sinister hidden ones. And that's how we know everyone needs accommodations. Like, they say, do you need any special accommodations? We all do. We're all handicapped in some way, and we all deserve honesty and dignity. We all have the emotional availability, whether or not we like what's being said. And so as we, the medium is like the field that we meet in between. And this video is before Shabbos. I wish you a beautiful Shabbos, seeing beauty inside and out, and being seen as beautiful inside and out, and primarily full healing, body, heart, mind, soul, ecologically, economically, societally, communally, familially, socially, in any other way necessary, and to be having ease and success in all accomplishment and endeavor, and good memory, feeling worthy, having enough time. Be well. Bye-bye.